In this video, I'll show you how to use the indirect truth table method to determine the validity of this argument. Just like in our direct truth table method, the first step in taking the vertical version of an argument is to rewrite that stacked version horizontally on a line. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll start with premise one, going left to right. So our first premise one says, if it's not the case A, then B or C. Now we separate premises by the single slash mark. Make sure your formatting follows this method. The next premise two, is just the negation of B, so that's easy. And then now we have the conclusion, because we have the line separating premises and conclusion, and then we have the little therefore symbol. So our conclusion is if C, then A. So we separate the premises for conclusion by two slash marks, then we just write down the conclusion. If C, then A. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, step two, and this is where things are going to feel very strange. So anything that's strange, just do it more and more in practice and it'll get more familiar. And I think you'll understand why you're doing it as well. Okay, so step two, assume the argument's form is invalid. So if we assume this argument is invalid, that means that the premises are all true and the conclusion is false. And so we're going to assign those truth values to those statements in the argument. So let's start with the conclusion. If this argument were valid, the conclusion would be false. So I'm putting the F for false underneath the main operator, the right-facing arrow for the conditional. Now, premise two is tilde B, right? So the main operator here is going to be the tilde. If this argument were invalid, then both premises would be true. So the tilde B would be true. And so we put that right underneath the tilde. This is why I'm very particular about you putting truth values underneath the main operator, because at this point, you're going to have to really track that. Okay, so our last premise to deal with is premise one. If not A, then B or C. The main operator here, since this is a conditional, the main operator is the right-facing arrow. And so if we assume this argument is invalid, that premise would also be true. And we're going to put that right underneath the arrow, which is the conditional. For step three, we're going to derive the truth values for the atomic statements of the conclusion such that the conclusion is false. We know that the conclusion is a conditional, and a conditional is false in one case and one case only, and that is when the antecedent, in this case T, is true. I'm sorry, C is true, and A is false. Right? That ensures that this conclusion is false. So let's make a little chart at the top here, just to keep track of our truth values. And I'll explain what I'm doing in 1 second. A, B, C. So to ensure that the truth value of the conclusion is false, we've assigned A as false and C as true. We haven't done B yet because we haven't encountered it yet in that second premise. So let's do that now. The second premise is it's not the case B or tilde B, where for this whole premise to be true, if the tilde B is true, then B has to be false. And now we can add that to our key up here. Now, the next step is going to be to see if we can use these same truth values that we've assigned for A, B, and C to see if we can consistently apply them such that this premise remains true, right? That was our assumption. Our assumption was, let's assume this argument is invalid, and now let's see if we can consistently apply the truth values that would make it invalid all the way from the conclusion to the second premise to the first premise without encountering a contradiction. Meaning, so let's take C for example. Well, we've assigned C true because it has to be true for the conclusion to be false, and A has to be false for the conclusion to be false. So no problem with the second premise because it's only tilde B. We have three separate statements here, A, B, and C. But now for the first premise, let's say that we applied true to C here. Well, if we tried to make this statement true, but the only way to do it is to make C false here, then that would be a contradiction. So when we encounter a contradiction, that means we can't consistently apply the truth values to the argument such that it's invalid, such that it has all true premises and a false conclusion. So step 5, we're going to apply the truth values for the atomic statements to the statements in premise 1 and see if we can maintain that true conditional. So let's start with A. We've assigned false to A, so let's write that right underneath A. But we have to remember the whole antecedent is tilde A. So the antecedent is going to be false. So that's the main operator for the antecedent. Now let's assign the truth values for B and C that we've assigned based on the conclusion and the second premise, right? Where B is false and C is true. B is false and C is true underneath that disjunction. And we know that a disjunction is only false when both disjuncts are false. So we know that that disjunction, which is the consequent of the conditional, is true. Now, we know that anytime a conditional has a true consequent, that conditional is going to be true, because the only time a conditional is false is when the antecedent is true and the consequent false. So what we've done here is we started with the assumption that this argument was invalid by ascribing or assigning the truth values to premise 1 as true, premise 2 as true, and the conclusion false. And then we applied the truth values to the atomic statements such that we were checking to see if we can consistently apply all the truth values to A, B, and C such that it would make this argument have all true premises and a false conclusion. And that's what we did. We were able to consistently apply the truth values across this argument such that premise 1 is true, premise 2 is true, and the conclusion false. So this is an invalid argument. Because we could consistently apply a set of truth values to this argument such that all the premises are true and the conclusion is false. And the combination of truth values that would make that the case is when A is false, B is false, and C is true. So if we were to do a regular truth table, And we can test this out where A, B, and C are our atomic statements. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's just say that this is row X, because I don't know which number of row it would be. Since this, if we were to do a direct truth table, it would have 16 rows. Let's assign those truth values that we just tested this argument with, where A is false, B is false, and C is true, right? That's a possible combination of truth values. Let's see if we can, what happens when we plug those into the argument, where A is false, B is false, C is true, B is false, C is true, A is false. Right? Let's just fill those in with truth values now. So we know the conditional of the conditional of the conclusion will be false. If B is false, tilde B is true. Right? So this is the main operator. This is the main operator. And for B and C of premise one, that's true under that disjunction. If A is false, tilde A is true. So looking at the conditional as true and true, we know the conditional is true. Right? So that's sort of the direct method, and we just tested out our indirect method. You don't need to do that, but it just shows you what that would look like, right? So you would have, you know, this is invalid, row X, where A is false, B is false, and C is true. Okay, so that's that example for the indirect truth table method.